to our weekly chat. All right, Alain's on from Montreal, Ida Marie's on from Washington, D.C. Yeah, the heat is here as well. Christopher's on in the UK. Dina's on. All right, haven't seen Dina from Seattle in a while. Welcome. Roger's on in Athens, 28 degrees there. David Claremont is on in Nova Scotia, sunny and warm down there in Yarmouth. Stephen's on in Australia. It's only 11 degrees there, but it's middle of the night. Who else do we have on? All right, I think that's it. We're all accounted for. Oh, Wolfie's on in the UK and Sarah's on in Germany. So there we go. It is, I don't know, like 25, 26 degrees with the humidity. It's over 30 degrees here today. It's beautiful. It's a good day for spending some time outside. And as you can see, I am a little redder because I was out mowing the lawn this morning before coming on here. Actually, just before coming on here, within the last 15 minutes, I was out there. So I didn't quite finish, but getting there. I've got a little bit of the backyard left to do. And then we want to tackle that bed in the front where we took out the tree a couple weeks ago. Go maybe get some plants, move some hospices from one area of the house. Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll get into it. Also, you may have noticed that the channel looked a little different when you were getting ready for this live stream today. So I want to talk about that and why I've changed up the thumbnail today and probably a bit going forward, and whether or not you like that change or not. So 100 degrees next week Fahrenheit for Ida Marie. Yeah, I'd heard that the heat wave was coming for the eastern, well, all over the US and into Canada too. So yeah, it's going to be warm. We've got some hot days coming up. Well, where to start? You guys like watching the videos about what I got at the stamp auction? I've done 2 of them so far. I've got at least 2 more to do. So yeah, I think I did well. $100 for everything I bought. I've shown you, I'd say half of what I bought, maybe half, but there's still a lot to come. So we've done some of those videos. What else? I don't know. Just seems like we've been doing a lot of different stuff. All right, well, let's get into, well, Medi is on in Finland. Midsummer there. It's only 13 degrees for her, though. A little cooler. First full day of summer here, which is kind of nice. Summer solstice. So why is my thumbnail a little bit different? Or is a lot different? It's because I've been going into Canva. That's what I've been using since I started YouTube, and that's how I create my thumbnails. And I've always used the free version of it. And last week, any picture that I took and tried to upload in order to try to create a thumbnail said that it wasn't the right version, it was corrupt or something, there was a problem with it. I've tried a bunch of different things. It wasn't really working. And that's why you got some thumbnails that really didn't have anything to do with what was in the video. For example, yesterday's video about post-crossing. Yeah, it said post-crossing on it, but it was pictures of Canada geese. That's because it was a picture I'd uploaded into Canva ages ago, and I'd never used it for anything, so I used it for the thumbnail. Yeah, because I couldn't use the other ones. So that was why I started doing that and why things were looking a little different. Welcome, Monty in Saskatchewan. So what I did, I took a leap. I invested in Canva Pro. Now, if you've watched Smokey's channel, which I think most of you have, he's been using Canva Pro for a while. Whenever we do stamp versus stamp, he uses Canva Pro to create the thumbnails that we both use. And there's a lot more AI involved in it, a lot less of the pictures that we take. So I wanted to try that. Welcome, Basil, in Goa. So I invested in Canva Pro and started tinkering with it a little bit today and came up with that particular thumbnail. I'm hoping it will also generate more people the interest to come and watch, because granted, my thumbnails are pretty basic. And I know when it comes to YouTube, everyone says to increase viewership, you need to have an exciting thumbnail, something that really draws people in. So I'm hoping oh, sorry, Basil, yeah, 1st year anniversary coming up, so my condolences. So I'm hoping these thumbnails will help out with that and maybe generate a little bit more interest in the channel. So that's one good thing about it. It freshens things up a bit too. I'm wondering if maybe it had been a little stale with the thumbnails that I used, and maybe people weren't as interested. So we'll see. That's the reason why the thumbnail looks different today, and probably will look a little different going forward. We're gonna fiddle with it a little bit and see what I can do with it. So that's the plan anyways. Well, I want to talk about the plan outside. That's why you've got a gardening theme on it. So let's just do that. Let's pop outside for a second. All right, outside. So this is the area we want to tackle. I took out that tree, there's a hose there, but I took out that tree. We're gonna take out all of this greenery here. I'm gonna remove this tree as well and that plant in the corner. And I think what we'll do, bear with me, we're gonna go to this side of the house. You can see I've got it all mowed down. But I've got these giant hostas. This one, these ones, variety of colors. I think I'm gonna take a portion of these ones out and move them to the front. So they're easy enough to split them, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna split the ones that are a variety of different colors. So this big one here on the end, this one, and this one. Take all three of those, portions of them, and move them to the front. Now, we also want to get some color, so we're gonna find some plants that go well in shade and work well with hostas and plant them in here. Maybe 3 or 4, just a couple to add in there. And then we can put back things like this, the decorative broken pots. These little markers here are actually Ari's and Daya's handprints when they were little kids. You can see the 07 when that was created. So, and then there's a little gnome and mushroom. So we'll probably leave those things in there somewhere along the way. Show us your room study shelves. What are you talking about, Basil? I don't follow you. Anyways, so that's the garden plan for there. This is the greenery. So this was all dirt before, and I put in white clover. And you can see the white clover, which is very soft, has filled in pretty nicely. There are some patches like here. So I will have to get some more dirt, some more clover, put it in. But instead of all this being mud, I now have greenery, which matches pretty nicely with the grass slash violets that are growing everywhere else. And you can see, nice blue sky. Still have our canopy. We are going to trim back this bush because it is overhanging a lot. So we've got some maintenance to do. Clover looks good, thank you. A few months, Basil's gonna have a new address. Okay, perfect. And then we're just doing a whole garden tour right now of things that need to be tackled. Here, in amongst the grapes and the kiwis that are growing here. These are kiwis, Arctic kiwis. And these are grapes in their infancy. I can't even get down this corner, so I need to trim all this up. I also need to continue to trim down this side for my neighbor so he's not running into it, but it's looking nice and green in amongst our nice blue sky. So there's some work to do there. My study, my office that you see every day. Well, I'll be back sitting in there in a minute. But it's in every one of my videos, Basil, you see it. All right, this used to be a garden bed. It's been overgrown, it's let to rot. I need to get in here, clean all this up, tackle that, clean up this cherry tree. I've got to finish mowing this part of the backyard, which I didn't get to beforehand, so I will do that. I'm cleaning up that bed back there so we can actually access the box. And you can see all the branches I've already taken down to start to clean up the canopy a little bit. And there might be a branch like this one that's going into my neighbor's yard, which I might take down. You can see the hedge of burnings that we're going to do in the future. So that'll end up in the fire pit. We'll clean that up. And you can see it's nicely mowed on this side. It just starts right there where the battery in my lawnmower died. So I will get to that after. But this side, nicely mowed. And you can smell the lilac bush on the side. It smells great. Flowers are wonderful on it. We've got a little bird's nest in there. Nobody's at home. When I took down the big tree on the side of the house, there was 3 birds' nests in it, but they were all empty, so I didn't hurt anybody's homes. All right, let's go back inside, back in the study. I need a ride-on. No, my lawn is not big enough for a ride-on mower. I have a electric mower, so I use the same battery in that I use in my chainsaw. It's great, and it takes me about 30 minutes normally to mow my lawn. So today it was a little bit overgrown. It took a little longer. Rather than bagging all the grass that I was cutting, I was mulching it back in to try to help the clover and spread it a bit. So yeah. All right, well, so that is my garden tour. That's why I had a little bit of a garden theme on my thumbnail today, because that's my focus. Tomorrow I think we're calling for a little rain, so today we want to attack the yard and clean it up a little bit. Also, it is Rib Fest here in town. We were going to go last night, but Ari ended up working late, so we didn't end up going last night. We're going to try to get to it this evening instead. Are my shelves showcase customized? No, these are all Walmart shelving in here. The ones in my library I made myself, so those ones are customized. But these ones just come from Walmart. They're very similar to the IKEA ones you can get too. But you've seen these a million times. I've got 2 of these ones. This one here, this is an antique that comes from my wife's grandparents. When they passed away, we inherited that. This one here, the banker's one, came from my parents' house, so I have that. These plastic ones are Walmart. So yeah, nothing too fancy. Couple pieces from our family, but that's about it. And the old filing cabinet, where is that? Over there, the black one. I got that from my work when they were getting rid of a whole bunch of things when we lived on the West Coast. That's what that picture up there is from Vancouver. So they were getting rid of a bunch of things, and so they gave me that filing cabinet for free. So that's where that came from. It's been around a long time. Recycle, reuse, right? Christopher says our garden's like a jungle right now. That's kind of what we were feeling about our yard too. So we really want to tackle it and get some things. There is something else we're planning on. Now we're in the very infancy stage of it. So where's the nearest IKEA for me? In Halifax, so 2.5 hours away. I'm just catching up on some messages here. Maybe I missed some questions. What was I talking about a minute ago? Just got distracted. Anybody let me know. What was I about to say? How did I start saying it? Oh yes, something that we're in the infancy of doing. We talked to our neighbors yesterday, and they had done something to their house, and I've been thinking about it for a few years now, wondering whether or not it was going to be feasible or not. So after talking to the neighbors, we think we might be able to do it. So I've sent an email out to the company, and we're going to look at putting solar panels on our house. There's a bit of a government rebate that goes with it right now. Nothing straight out of pocket, interest-free loans, all sorts of wonderful catchphrases that sound good. So we want to have them look at our house and see what's going on. If that's the case, if we can do it the same way that our neighbors 2 houses down have done it, I will try to shoot a video about the process of putting solar panels on your house. And just like I've done with my EV, kind of walk you through what it's like over a period of time. About, collection of the sun in Canada in the winter time, how much you actually generate, and how effective it has become. So that's my plan. That's another video hopefully to come. But like I said, it's the infancy stage. We haven't committed to anything yet. We've just put out the initial feelers. Yeah, Media's in a big transition. She's getting ready to move as well, and all sorts of stuff it takes when you get ready to move. is about an hour for IKEA. I think Christopher said he was about 2 hours. Yeah. Stevens is a little further away, 10 hours away. They don't deliver to Port Lincoln, yeah. We don't shop nearly as much at IKEA as we once did. When we lived out west, there was an IKEA pretty close to us, so we did go there and get what we needed, especially when we were in our first apartment and we're trying to get things cheaply. And so we still have some of those bookcases and things that we bought originally from there. They're still floating around, so they did last. We've had them for 30 years or something now. Careful with solar, as in Australia. I know now they want to charge people for having solar due to not having the capability to store all the power being sent to the grid. Well, there is an option for a battery, then rather than sending it to the grid, you send it to your battery pack, but you can sell it to the grid. I don't know. Still, like I said, infancy stages of talking about stuff. But we've had some horrendous power bills through the winter this year, and the local power company is talking about putting the rates up again. So it might be the time to do it for us. Adam Reed's got a small IKEA 30 minutes away, mostly furniture. Yeah, lots of IKEAs in Finland. If we had some of my friends from Sweden on, I'd be wondering to see how many they have in Sweden. I doubt that, Stephen. I think you have a pulse on things going quite a bit of the time. But I know there is. You also have to weed out some of the comments or some of the information you read. There's always people that don't want you to do some of those things like solar or wind power, having an EV, and talking about them catching fire all the time, which they don't. So you have to weed out some of the information. So there's good stuff, there's bad stuff, but do your research is basically what my thought is on it. And so that's the stage that we're at now. We're just doing a little research, trying to figure out whether we can go that. We've noticed in our neighborhood there have been a couple of houses that have put them up. So it's been a few more people that are taking the plunge and doing it. Christopher's got solar power on his camp trailer out on the west coast. Yeah, I've seen a lot of campsites that have that just have a couple panels that they put up when they put their trailer out. It's just enough power that they need to keep them going. I had questions about, or I still have questions about whether or not, if we have a power outage, if we had a battery pack, whether we would still be able to power things being kind of off the grid and not be affected by the outage. Or whether that still would affect us. So no, they do charge for water supply whether you're connected or not. Yeah, we'd still get a water bill. That wouldn't be affected. Don't need a lot of power in a trailer, no. Do I get many power outages? We do get the odd one. Not necessarily for a long time, but we've had a few. They're not so bad in the winter or in the summertime when you have them, but in the wintertime when it's cold, if it's out for a long time, it can get cold. So that would be one of the reasons why it would be nice to be hooked up. Hey, Lyndon. Lyndon in BC's on. Welcome. You made the live. Hopefully everything's going all right out west with wedding plans and house plans and all the other fun things that are going on out there, work stuff. So yeah, so you've been caught up. Stamps, we've got stamps still to show you. I've got some plans in the work. I did that Getting to Know Your Neighbor, the very first one with Raven Willow Farmstead. So hopefully you've liked that. I'm kind of in the process now to see whether or not the next one will come out sooner rather than later. I kind of want to do it on a monthly basis, so they're not coming out too quickly. So yeah, so got some feelers to put out to see about what the next one could be like for that. And if you noticed, I haven't been doing the regular Thursday stamp video pursuing into the other countries just yet. I'm kind of at not a mental block, but I want to mix it up a little bit. So I've been glad to be able to have the stamp auction stuff to be putting in on those days to show you. And we'll get back to something. I'm just not sure what it will look like just yet. Yeah, no, he's from British Columbia. We always call British Columbia BC in Canada. We're not referring to the date. We're abbreviating. I'm from NB. I don't know if anybody ever calls it NB really, but New Brunswick. And we always say that Monty's from Saskatchewan. I don't say he's from Sask, S-A-S-K. But British Columbia, we do abbreviate it. Nova Scotia, we don't. New Brunswick, we don't. Quebec, Ontario, yeah, none of the others get the abbreviation, only British Columbia. And if you think, well, it's because it's a bit more of a mouthful, maybe. But Northwest Territories is a bit of a mouthful, and we don't abbreviate that either. So that's not it. Yeah, I'm using the word neighbors lightly because Raven Willow Farmstead isn't right next door to me. It's a 40-minute drive. But I wanted to highlight people that were moving to New Brunswick and calling it their home and finding out why they wanted to come here and maybe what the business is about that they've set up. So that's what I'm using the word neighbors for, rather than just going next door and talking to my neighbor or across the street. They may have an interesting story too, and maybe one day that will be a part of it too if they're interested. But that's not really the focus right now. Yeah, NB could. I don't. Is NB the abbreviation for Nebraska? Yeah, it might be. It's not NK or something. But yeah, when it comes to mailing in Canada, we do use NB or Nova Scotia NS, Ontario ONT or ON. They even abbreviate down to that. Quebec is QUE. So rather than writing out the whole province, yeah, we tend to abbreviate when we put it on a mailing address. We don't necessarily say that when we talk about where we're from or where we're going. Any summer plans, Lyndon wants to know. Other than working in the yard, we might go to PEI. We might do a little adventuring around the Maritimes a little bit. I don't know if we're going to venture outside the Maritimes this summer. Probably not. Item Marie thinks NE is Nebraska. Okay. Any news on Canada Post? We are still at the point where the government has said that the union membership has to vote on the last offer that Canada Post provided. So right now the union is definitely in a mode of telling all the membership that they should vote no and why they should vote no. And Canada Post is putting out stuff saying why you should vote yes. And so there hasn't been a date given to us for the actual vote. So that's what we're waiting on. So we're still working away, and the little mail and parcels that are coming in is getting delivered. It's very slow right now. Summers generally are slow, but parcel volume is way down. So that's where we're at. We're still working, so it's okay to mail letters to and from Canada, and parcels and all the rest. That's still going. Once we have our vote, depending on what the result is, if the result comes back yes, then we have a contract and we're good until 2028 because that's when it will expire. Otherwise, if it comes back no, then we'll see what happens. TDG, that dad guy. Yeah, that's an abbreviation we sometimes use. Hopefully I did the address right then. Which address are you talking about, Wolfie? What did you put? Did you mail something to me and you weren't sure? The address that will get to me is the one that I put in the description of all my videos. If you copy that down the way that I've put it in the video, then you should be fine. I know lots of people have found it and everything goes okay. Stephen sent an envelope my way on Monday. Nice, thank you. I know Item Marie's got something we're waiting for to arrive too. Hard to believe we're the 21st, which means that by next weekend we will be looking at who's going to win Stamp of the Month. So we're almost at another end of the month, and then we'll all be talking about what next month will be for July. I have the themes for July and August already picked out, and those in the know already, I guess. And I'll start thinking about September soon too, because kind of need to get plans going a few months in ahead. Yeah, time is flying by. Canada Day soon, yes, on July 1st. So that'll be a holiday. And there'll be a concert and there'll be things going on downtown. I'm not sure. Not sure what day of the week July 1st is right now. Feels like I've been rambling on a lot this first half hour. You guys must have questions and things you want to talk about. Will I be taking videos of Canada Day? I don't know, maybe. Depends on what I do. I don't know what I'm planning on doing, whether it's going to be a rainy day, a sunny day. Christopher's lost 2 stone in the last 11 weeks. I've got some in my backyard if you want some replacement stones. But congratulations, I know what you mean. Canada Day is a Tuesday. So that means I'll have to go to work on Monday. Tuesday I'll be off and I'll be back to work on Wednesday. I wish it was kind of like in the US when you guys have July 4th and it falls a day after a work day. You seem to take that day before it as well. So your July 4th is on a Friday, so you'll have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. I need to get on the rowing machine in the basement and start trying to lose a little bit of weight using that maybe. I've been changing the diet up. It hasn't done anything too dramatic just yet, but it's still early. We still do our evening walks. We do a little bit longer maybe on the nicer days. And it certainly will help if we're outside working today in this heat. Item Marie says, I hate in-day holidays. We take it off using our own time. What does that mean? In-day holidays. Does that mean if it was Tuesday, you wouldn't work Monday, but you would have to take that of your own day off to do that? How are the kids doing? Well, just like you, Linda, they're not kids anymore, but Day is doing well. Well, they're both doing well. So let's start with Day. She's living in Montreal, working hard, doing things. She's did a lot of stuff with the Formula One race in Montreal last weekend, and she'll be preparing to go to Toronto for the Indy 5, or not the Indy 500, the Toronto Indy, middle of July. So she's having a good time, enjoying life. Ari is here. He's working construction and working a lot. He's actually working today too. So yeah, things are going pretty well for both of them. They're having a good time. When's my next Lego video with Ari? I'm not sure. We tend to do minifigure reviews, and I haven't bought a lot of those of late. Actually, I haven't bought a lot of Lego, period, of late. So who knows? Maybe we will build something else other than minifigures together. But I haven't done anything really with too much with Lego recently. Kind of have to focus. You're going to spend your money on stamps for things to show from the stamp show, or are you spending money on postage for sending things for post crossing and direct swaps? That's kind of where I've been focusing the money right now rather than buying new Lego sets. But every once in a while, One does come home, and it's not built yet, but it gets put with the other ones. Oh, hey, Lauren, you must be home from work. Hopefully you guys are going well. Feel free to drop a line anytime. Keep us up to date. What's happening? Item Marie says 1 day holidays. Okay. I have 1 day next week where I'm going to train someone for Canada Post. So Tuesday I won't be doing my regular route. I'll be going off and helping someone else. So that'll be a little different. So it may interrupt what I happen to be doing for a video on Tuesday too, depending on when I get back. Thank you, Media, for sending off something else. Be happy when it arrives. I know you got a lot of stuff on the go right now, though, with moving. R3H. I'm not sure what sorting station R3H is, but whether that's Mississauga or... I just noticed I had a couple bills here. I gotta pay those too. Yeah, Christopher, I like putting videos out every day. Some days I do need that mental break, or I've got something else going on and I just can't make it work. So yeah, I don't promise that you get videos every day, but I try to keep as consistent as possible and give you things that fall on those regular days. Like normally tomorrow would be a post-crossing video. Whether it will be, I don't know, but probably. How long is my work day? Well, I can tell you I get paid for 8 hours, whether I work 16 or whether I work 4. So that is something we've always been kind of working, like we don't get paid overtime in the type of job that I do. So others that do, it's been a sticking point for us. And so we kind of said we'd all like to be treated the same. But generally right now when things are quiet, I start work at 6:15 in the morning, and by 10 o'clock I'm usually done. One of the things in the contract that they've talked about doing is that if you are paid for 8 hours, if you come back and you finish your route and there's more work that could be done for someone else's route, they can force you and take that and go and do that without any compensation. Because you're paid for 8 hours, you should be working for 8, which in the real world, that makes complete sense. But because they've been doing that for so long in the post office, there is such a backlash against, if we're doing our work and we're doing it efficiently and someone else is doing their job but doing it inefficiently, why does the efficient person have to make up for that other person? That's the sticking point we have right now. So that is why I'm able to create videos on a regular basis. I've been doing my route for a long time, and so I've become pretty efficient with it. And so when I go quickly and I can finish my job in 4 or 5 hours instead, those extra 3 hours go to coming home, doing the laundry, making supper, putting videos together, doing all those fun things. Stephen says, I recently discovered on the Australia Post Philatelic Bureau shop online that there are stamps that they classify as community hub stamps. They come in self-adhesive booklets. So what are community hub? Are they different in pricing? I always do the same route, yeah. I have one set area that I do all the time, so I know the customers. I can sort my mail quickly because I know where it is in the case. I've done it so many times, so I've been on the same route for a long time. No comp 9, no. Could be just a cash grab, Stephen, but if it's real postage that they're putting out just for regional, hopefully there's a catalog somewhere. I know you say there's not a catalog, but if they're putting out postage that's real that you can use, Still seems collectible to me. No 8-hour day. I am paid my route. Every route is evaluated, and based on the number of customers you have, they call them points of call, and the mileage that you drive. So that is a time factor. Any stops that you might be doing, the average number of flyers that you might get to send out. All of those things have time values associated to them, and they add up to a certain amount of time. So my route right now is at 8 hours. And someone that comes and covers for me when I'm off sick or on vacation, it's going to take them longer to do it, and they might take the full 8 hours to do it. I'm just at the point where I know how to sort, so I can sort quickly. I know where my customers are. I can put things in the right order for parcels and have them very efficient in my vehicle. And so I tend to be able to get done before that 8-hour window. Joseph says the argument makes a lot of sense. You are getting the same work done that is slower. Yeah, so I have almost 1,100 customers on my route. That's what I'm responsible for. And almost all of them are in community mailboxes. I have one business that I go in and have to drop it off at their counter. I have 4 customers that have mailbox at their end of the driveway, so I have to reach out my window and drop off their mail that way. Christopher says he doesn't have to work because he's retired. Well, you've done it all. Item Marie says, lucky you, I pull 8:15 to 5 a day. Yeah, I mean, that's a normal work day. My wife starts work at 8 o'clock in the morning or 8:30 in the morning, and she's done at 5 o'clock. Now, are there times when she's not doing anything because the order hasn't come in or something? Yeah, and I'm sure you have times when you're not doing anything. For me, when I go into work, I don't stop working. So I get to work, I sort, I pull my mail, I load it in my truck, I drive, I deliver it, I pick up the outgoing mail, I bring it back, I sort it into that, I prepare my flyers for the next day if I need it, and I go home. I don't take a break. Do we have them? Yeah, if you're working an 8-hour day, you can stop for your lunch. You can stop for breaks. I just choose not to do that. I'd rather get it all done quickly and go home than to sit in my truck or sit at the post office or sit in a Tim Hortons. Especially don't want to spend money when I don't have to, so why do that? Have there been any other post crossers on your route so far? Yeah, I have 2 post crossers on my route, so I can see postcards coming in for them from time to time. It'd be interesting, Stephen, to see those stamps. How are they classified differently? Why do they come out just for communities? Be interesting. Yeah, the postal system is interesting because not everybody's treated the same way. If you're an inside worker, you've got a job to do, you do all that job, and then you might be there for your full 8 hours because you don't know when more stuff's coming in. We have people that come in and do sorting and mail. When they're done, they go home, or they take out a letter carrier route or do something else and get overtime for that. For my particular group, because we're the rural, we kind of are a small group. When we finish our routes, we're done. There's nothing else to do. We can't go over and take out a letter carrier because they're in a different bargaining unit, so we can't do work for them. We can't work for an inside worker. We can't go work at a counter. They're all different bargaining units. So when you're in a union, as some of you probably know, there are limitations to what you can do and what you're allowed to do because you don't want to do someone else's job. USA always a debate about the work week. Yeah, there's a debate about it here too. Right now, the debate with Canada Post is they want us working 7 days a week for parcel delivery. So mail delivery might only be 5 days a week, and if they could, they probably would put it down to 4 days a week and then just deliver parcels the rest of the time. So that's one of the things they're talking about in this contract is bringing in part-time workers to work on the weekend. And as a route holder, if someone comes in on the weekend and does my parcels, and I come in on Monday, I don't have as many parcels, I can't count them as delivered which is part of my pay. So my pay would go down because I wouldn't have as much to deliver. So they'd have to change that system too to figure out exactly how they're going to pay us. Everything has a value. And I think in the global work, there are more people that are saying we should go to a 4-day work week rather than a 5-day work week because it's healthier for, if you have more days of relaxation, it's better to jam pack into 4. So if you're going to do a 40-hour work week, do 4 10-hour shifts rather than 5 8-hour shifts. Sounds like some research might be in order there, Stephen, to figure it out. Yeah, Linda knows what it's all about, and Lauren knows what it's all about. Doing 4 10-hour shifts and having those extra days is better. If you're a nurse, it's or paramedic. There's lots of jobs that work on shift work, and having a 10-hour shift makes sense. You know, there's even firefighters work on 12-hour shifts. So maybe you only work 3 shifts a week. You have 4 off, you work 36 hours. Oh, Joseph got his package. That's good. So Joseph was a winner of Stamp of the Month, so he got his Europa stamps. It's great. Congratulations on winning. US calls it compressed time work week. Then it says when he goes away on a work camp, 10-hour shifts, 4 off. Yeah, it's kind of nice to be able to do that. Get all your work done. If you're going to be working anyways, get it all done. And then have more free time. That makes more sense. Has there ever been a no mail on a day? If so, what would you do? The only time I can remember going into work and there wasn't mail was when the letter carrier side, the urban side, were on strike and the rural side weren't on strike because we have separate contracts. So we went in and there wasn't anything for us to do, so we went home. That was the plan. On a regular work day, I've never had a day where I've gone in and there isn't something to do. Whether that means there's a parcel or 2 to deliver, or whether there's letter mail that has to be delivered, there's always something. Yeah, only 8 likes, only 15 people on now. I noticed there was over like 23 or 24 at one point in time. Does anyone have flex time hours? Good question. Item Marie's jealous on the Europa win. Well, maybe there's some things in there that Joseph will share with you. I don't know, Item Marie. There's some of the things that came back to him that were his to begin with that he put in. I think it was a pretty good giveaway, though. There was a lot of really nice things in that. And so, Joseph, if you didn't have a collection already on the go of it, you certainly have a good one now. Same with whoever's going to win this month's Disney. There's a lot of really cool stuff in this giveaway. So I think someone is going to be happy with the win. And I'm really happy that there's so many people that help contribute to make these things possible. So thank you to Stephen and Ida Marie and Joseph and Liverpool Stamps and everybody that's been contributing stuff this month. Ida Marie or Debbie in Ohio has sent stuff in too. So the odds are getting longer for the more people that enter. That's true. The more people that are watching and entering, your chance of winning does dissipate. It wasn't like when we first had a giveaway and there was like 12 people on the wheel. Now we've got 40 or 50 people on the wheel. Do I watch much CFL ball? I do not really. When I lived out west, I watched the BC Lions play, but no, I don't. Even the sports that I like, I don't watch a lot of actual live sporting anymore. I watch highlights when they come in. So the NBA finals are on, and it's a great matchup. 2 teams like Indiana and Oklahoma City. Neither of them have won the championship. They're both going. It's going to a game 7. I haven't watched a minute of the finals yet, but I have watched all. Okay, they've won. They won. That's how many points so-and-so scored. I do catch the highlights of it. Stanley Cup final, same thing. Edmonton and Florida. Great series, back and forth. I watched the highlights. I didn't watch the games. The only team I tend to really watch right now is the New York Yankees. I put on a baseball game in the background, and they haven't been very good in June so far, so it hasn't been very good to watch. But I do like to watch that. And when it comes to NFL, when the Pittsburgh Steelers are playing, I sometimes watch their games too. So those are the ones I tend to watch more of. Yeah, the West Coast games, Lyndon, are really hard to watch with all those extra hours. Just like probably the watch. Well, I know what the sporting event I watch the most is right now, and that's Formula One. And so it could be a race that starts at 10 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They're all sorts of different times. So I really have to be mindful of when the race actually happens. Now, they only last for an hour and a half, so they're pretty quick. But time zones are difficult. We're missing Charmaine in Maine today, and Olia is not on today in Poland. Basil's on. I haven't seen Joe today in India. Got a few people that are MIA today that have other things on the go, I guess. But I was happy to see we have some returning friends too, though. Oh, Wolfie's got 30 entries in his giveaway, which draws in 10 minutes. So for those of you who are entered in that, you might be excited. Maybe you're going to be the winner. I have been slacking in watching my friends on YouTube lately. I haven't been on it as much, or I've been focused on some other things. Usually if people message me on Instagram, I'll message them back. I haven't been doing as much of messaging first, so I do apologize to those of you who message me on a regular basis if I haven't been as communicative as I normally have been. We're up to 12 likes and 15 people are currently on. Oh. Stretch it out. So that's another thing we have to look at. Shanda works from home a few days a week now, and she's been working at the kitchen table in those wooden chairs, so we need to get her a proper office chair, something that'll support her a little bit more. And I think I need to replace this one too. This one's getting pretty bad. So it's another thing on our to-do list is to go and look at a few places, see if we can find a good couple chairs. Do I golf at all? I used to golf a lot. No, not a lot. Let me rephrase that. I used to golf frequently each year. But I haven't gone in a couple years now. I do have a set of clubs in the garage. I'd like to get back out on the golf course again. Ari's actually expressed some interest in maybe trying it, so maybe this summer Ari and I will get a chance to go out to the course. Maybe go to a driving range first and get limbered up a bit and then hit the course. But I do like golf. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. I enjoy going out to the golf course. I like to go fishing too. It's been a couple years since we've done that. Ari and I and his good friend and father, we used to all go out and fish together. So we haven't done that in a couple years now, though. Oh, Carla's on. You're coming on near the end. Carla in Mexico. That's a nice snag, Christopher. You get yourself a free chair from the library. Yeah, that'd be fun, Lyndon. We could definitely hit the links. You come here in the summertime. Don't come in the wintertime. It's harder to find white golf balls in the wintertime here. Try Staples for the chair. Yeah, it's one of the places we have looked, Staples, or will be looking. We looked online. Staples, Walmart, they were cheap ones. We've got a couple discount furniture stores that we might hit up too. I don't want to spend $300 on a good office chair, even though it probably would be a good office chair. Who knows? Maybe there is a company out there that wants us to try one out for them that can do that. I've mentioned that before. Any random number jump? I just go into Google. I have a random name generator wheel that I use all the time. There's a whole bunch of different options that are in there. I know Smokey uses one through YouTube that will look for specific words within his comments. So yeah, there's a couple out there. Just an idea. Those who have mint hinge stamps, can you use them for postage if they are all still... You know, if the stamp has not been canceled, I think you can use it again. Now, the caveat to that is if you get an envelope that the stamp has been stuck on the back and it hasn't been canceled on the front, I don't think it should be used again. I know people cut them off and glue them down again, or it's been used for its intended purpose once. Spend the money, buy a new stamp. But that's the postal worker telling you to do that. Costco might be an option too. I know they've got gaming chairs. They're usually a couple $100. But Carla, it wasn't your birthday yesterday though. You were someone else's birthday, right? Did we miss your birthday? If so, happy belated birthday. Okay. Well, happy belated birthday to your friend, and hopefully you guys had a good time last night. Yeah, you can use a mint stamp is a mint stamp, so it still has a purpose out there to be used. So if it's never been used for postage, it still can be. Yeah, Facebook Marketplace might be an option for a chair. But this is a used chair I'm in right now. Do I want to get someone else's used chair? I think I might be having the same problems. But one of the things I like about Staples when I go into that department store is they have them all on the floor, so you can go and sit and try them out and you can see how comfortable they are. Sometimes you go into Walmart, it's just in a box. You don't know. It might be $90, but it might not be that comfortable. It might be just as squeaky as this one. It might have metal rollers on it that are going to make a bunch of noise rolling back and forth on the floor. So those are the things I want to test out before we buy a chair. Does the post office see the markings on a used stamp? Yeah, they can. Do they always? No, because I get stamps all the time that haven't been canceled, that haven't been gone through. That's why you get pen cancels, because someone at the post office has noticed that it hasn't been canceled and they will manually cancel it themselves. That's why pen cancels exist. Even if you hate them, that's why they exist, because they stop people, and a lot of people will reuse the stamp. I had one that was clearly reused because the paper that it was stuck to before that they cut out, they didn't bother soaking it off or trying to hide it. They just taped it onto the new envelope and remailed it. That makes sense that there is a change in the system in Australia, so you wouldn't be able to use stamps prior to that period. Free cycle in Canada. Yeah, there is something about... if you don't need an item anymore, you can put it up. Marketplaces, the selling of those items, the ones that just free swap. I know there's such a place. I don't know how big it is here in Moncton, though. You heard Canada's no longer using the 1 cent coin, the penny. The US will stop minting them next year. Have any other countries ended the small value coin? We haven't yet gotten rid of the penny. It's still around, but there has been talk about it. We've been doing the different thing. We've been getting rid of the banknotes. So we got rid of the $1 banknote, and we got rid of the $2 banknote and replaced them with coins. There is talk about getting rid of the $5 banknote and replacing with a coin too. I don't know what that would look like. Now the coins don't get bigger and bigger and heavier, so a $1 coin. Here, this is a, give you an example. I have one in front of me. This is a $2 coin. This is a special one because this was the one that was issued when the Queen passed away. That's why it's black on the outside. Normally it's silver. Here's a dime. So that's a 10-cent coin, and this is a $2 coin. So you can see the difference. So a $5 coin, if it came out, probably would be just a little bit bigger than this one. But yeah. The pennies still are here. But there has been talk about getting rid of them. You're right. Well, if you got an office chair from a dumpster, that works great. Well, there you go. So since 2001, when Greece went to the euro, they can't use the postage before that. Wow, the audacity! The audacity of what? I've lost something along the way, Carol. I don't know what we're talking about. Oh, David's on from Poland. Welcome. $5, 10, 20, and 50-pound notes in the UK. So the notes that we have in Canada now are the $5, the $10, the $20, the $50, the $100. They've recently done away with the $1,000, which was a cool purple note. You would hardly ever see it. But yeah, so we have 5 banknotes that are regular circulation here. When it comes to older denomination stamps, well, luckily I have had Ida Marie send me a bunch of mint used older Canadian stamps, so they're those, but I have had some older ones too. There was $100 face value. In Montreal, there's a place that has new stamps, so they bought collections of stamps and had a bunch of new ones, and then they resell them out, package them up, and sell them off. And there's a place in Ontario that does it as well, discount postage. That's a video that I meant to do about ages ago. I haven't gotten to it. Maybe I will in the future, but it's another way of buying new stamps at a lower than face value that are real, rather than you can find the ones on eBay and things that are all counterfeit ones. You have to watch out for those ones. If it's too good to be true, probably is. That's the saying. Yeah, I plan on doing more soaking of stamps, and I did do some soaking of stamps when I was off when my mother passed away. I just didn't do a video about it. It was just a relaxing way to do it. Sometimes I get to the point where I don't need to videotape everything I'm doing, but I know you guys have mentioned in the past of doing another soaking. I've done one in the past, but I could do another one. I just have to plan it with something else, because otherwise it'll be kind of boring just watching stamps soak. We still have a few low value stamps that are out, but they haven't printed out any new ones. So I think when they are gone, they're gone, because I think they're going to discontinue those ones. 2026, no more penny in the US. So no more penny candies. They'll all be nickel candies. I am having a memory issue here. When you said that about the penny, I have to check something. I may have misled you. We don't use cash a lot anymore. A lot of places you're just using your debit card or your or your credit card. So I know when you pay for something and it comes to a value of, let's say, 87 cents, it will get rounded up to 90 if you're using a credit card, or if it's 86, it'll get rounded down to 85. Yeah, so there you go. There's my brain blip. The Canadian penny was discontinued in 2012. So for 13 years, we haven't been making pennies. They are still pennies in production, or not in circulation. But when they show up at the banks and stuff, they're supposed to reject them and send them back to be destroyed, I guess. So yeah, that's why. And that's why things get rounded up or rounded down, because there is no penny anymore. They round it to the nearest nickel. So the Canadian penny's been discontinued for 13 years. So when I said we still had it, we still have them out there. They're just not being produced anymore. Which is what will happen in the US next year. All right, Wolfie's heading out. It's been an hour. I gotta head out too. We gotta get to doing the yard and running off, and my wife is waiting in the other room. So with that news, we're gonna come to an end. So thank you everyone for joining me. And we're 12 people on and 12 likes, so we've reached that magic integration. All right, you guys, have a magical week.